to be a balance. If you listen to what everybody's got to say and their feedback and their choices, you let the audience influence you. These are people who make emotional decisions. I will be making content where I'm dancing 247. One thing I know about content creator and creating stuff is that you never stop learning. Platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I call them restless platforms. So 1 minute you have it figured out, and the next minute you're like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? You know, they are constantly creating stuff, and that is what the platforms like that are about. So it's very important that you find a way to keep yourself updated. Read, just follow, find a way to follow the trends, try and know what is going on out there. Um, I would say there are two types of creators, and the ones that individually becomes the content, and that's examples the likes of Lai and a whole lot of other types of content creators that we have in Nigeria, and the ones that build the brand that becomes the content. Regardless of the path that you choose to take, no one is easy. They all have their perks and they all have their challenges. So I would, first of all, I would always say that when you want to go into creating as a career path or as something that you enjoy doing, you have to first identify what type of creator am I, so that you don't wake up and miss your path. Or I don't create the type of content that Like creates, and no matter how much the world turns on, like, let's assume we wake up one day and the algorithm starts to favor creators like Lie and all that, like massively, I'm not going to get confused and say, oh, okay, maybe this is where the energy is. Let me just switch myself into that. I can't. It is not me. So it's very important that you ask yourself, what type of creator am I? What direction do I want to take myself, my brand, my product, whatever I have to offer? Nigeria have the crowd syndrome. If something is happening here, everybody wants to do it. But it's not just Nigeria, just that Nigeria is way worse. But it's not just Nigeria. So even if you find a path, you say, okay, let me carve a niche for myself. Let me find something that I would do and do alone. The only reason or the only way you would do that thing and do it alone is if you're not succeeding. Because the moment you succeed, everybody will start realizing that, okay, I had this dream in 2022. God showed me this vision. Oh, this is the direction. And people don't really have it figured out. So wherever they see doors are opening, is a direction there that they will go. There was a time a lot of people just thought that cooking jollof rice was the it. There was a time, in fact, before Guinness World Record, I knew there was Guinness World Record, but in Nigeria, before, what's her name? The lady, Hilda. Nobody was thinking about going for Guinness. Everybody was looking for money to put food on their table. But the moment Hilda did it, we realized how creative we were. Somebody came and said, I want to sleep for 24 hours. I said, what am I doing? You're coming to tell you want to sleep for 20. Sleep now. Everything because that's somebody has done it and succeeded. So it's always going to be difficult to carve a niche and be the only person that does it. Regardless, it also means that there's room for competition. Healthy competition is good. If you as a person understands the direction that you want to go, you are not going to get distracted, because this platform, I'm majorly on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook, but YouTube is like the major platform that I create for. The platform itself comes with its pressure, and every other walks of life comes with their pressure. I don't want to talk so much because I know that we have a lot of questions that we want to ask and stuff like that, so that we can take this conversation in the direction that will actually benefit somebody here. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what questions you have, and let's rub minds.
Before I allow others to ask their questions, I have questions that I want to ask. So, first question, Ruth. Over the years, you've seen creators, everybody's chasing reach, everybody's chasing engagement, everybody's chasing followers and numbers. But to you, where do you believe a real value is? And, where do you think it is shifting now in 2026? Do you think it's still in audience size? Do you think it's in like data distribution power? Do you think it's in like the depth or the kind of content that you create?
Value is always going to be with you as the person. Value is always, because let's assume there was YouTube, but a lot of people did not know about YouTube/filmmaking until certain people came in that direction, until the creator brought the value to the platform. So while it is easy for a lot of people to get distracted, I also want to say this before I continue. Right now, there's a lot of awareness on content creation and how much money can be made and how much it can change the lives of each and every person, that people forget to ask themselves the core questions they just want to do, which is, what do I like to do? What do I love to do? I always tell people that I'm a YouTuber. YouTube is a platform that is a relationship, is a union, is for better or worse. And you never know. It keeps taking and taking and taking until there's probably nothing left to give. That being said, the only way you have so much more to give to that platform is if you totally love it, love what you do. If I wake up and I start dancing because there's money to be made via dancing, I don't think I'm gonna last. I might get the attention for a while. I might
Yeah.
get of things for a while, but on the long run, I don't think I'm going to last. So you need to find a niche that you genuinely love so that you can live through the hurdles that come as a creator, because they are definitely gonna come. There will be good days and there will be bad days. So for me, the value is understanding myself as a creator, understanding what I have to offer, understanding what I am willing to give and to what extent I'm willing to go. Because if you get all these right, audience, which is this and that, all that becomes extra pegs.
When we talk about monetization, and I want to draw from your experience as, an actor and then a filmmaker. So let's talk about when you decided that the attention was ready, when you decided that it was time for you to not just be in front of the screens, but also to own your own films. What was your mindset like at the time? What did you have to do? Can you just, from your own experience, take us through that journey quickly?
I've Before YouTube, I'd always made movies. I'd always written scripts and done stuff. But I got to a point where, for me, the turning point was wanting to do or make films on my own terms. Because when we made content and films and stuff like that, there was just so many rules and regulations, so many rules, and the truth is, there's really no freedom anywhere. Now I know, but there's also an extent, a bit of freedom regarding what I create. I wanted a bit of freedom in my creation. I wanted to explore, and I wanted the audience to, I wanted a personal relationship with my audience, which I wasn't gonna get just selling my movies to other platforms and stuff like that. I needed direct feedback. I needed a relationship with my audience, and I needed to create content on my own terms. These are what my turning points were, and these are the reasons why I went into this direction of filmmaking.
Thank you very much for answering my question. So now I'm going to go into the Q&A part to answer some of the questions that we have from our audience. So first, this question says, you talked about knowing your direction. Now I'd like to ask, and I'd like for you to talk on how to build the confidence. So how do we build confidence on what to do? So we kind of know the direction, but then it's seeming so gigantic or so big that it's almost impossible. So how do we build the confidence to take that first step?
There's something about a certain age, and I'll call it between 18 to 23. There's a freedom that comes with being within this age range, the freedom that comes with not being afraid to feel, the freedom that comes with freedom itself, the freedom that comes with lack of a certain type of awareness, self-awareness, the freedom that comes with get up and go. This is always the age that I encourage people to do things, because I realize that when people grow older, they become aware, and awareness sometimes follows with fear, uncertainty. What if I don't get it right? What if this happens? What if that happens? What this, that freedom to create, that freedom to do what you like and get away with it, or deal with the consequences, is what you need to succeed generally in life. So build confidence, and other stuff is built when, because I always tell people there are two people: the ones on the grass and the other ones, the doers and the talkers. The people who constantly have these type of meetings, and we're constantly crossing our legs and arms and so saying, speaking a lot of English, and the ones that are just on the field creating, regardless of what the algorithm says, regardless of what this person said about their brand, regardless, create. Creators cannot afford to get distracted by worry of who's doing this, what is the world saying, how is it going, what if I don't. You can't. You're either on the field working, or you are somewhere holding the mic. And these days everybody has an opinion. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But you decide what you want to do. Do you want to be the opinion giver, or do you want to be the doer, the action person? So find a way. Start. I keep telling people, start, do it. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't even sometimes you don't have it figured out. That's the most exciting part of YouTube, I would say. You don't have to have it figured out. Go in there, start. If you fail, okay, which other direction start. And nobody who got here, because these days we record a lot of overnight success that people actually think that is obtainable. No, that's not obtainable, that's not sustainable, and that's not true. True wealth creation takes time, it takes steps, it takes a period of time, learning, failing, starting, understanding the ropes. It's like the algorithm, it just goes pa 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 pa.
Yeah.
Don't look at who started today and is doing so well, and you're like, what if I now start and I don't do so well? See, nobody starts and does so well. Start it. But the reason you are too aware is because you've gotten to that point in your life where most times a lot of young people, they don't care about failing. They just go, they just do it and wake up and realize that, oh, okay, I got this. So I think we should take away the fear syndrome and create, worry syndrome and create, take away every other
Regardless.
distraction and just create. Make sure you're creating what you like. Make sure you're doing what you love, because you're going to need it on the long run.
I love that. If there's one major thing we're learning today is do it afraid, do it regardless. Thank you so much for that word in particular, do it afraid. This question says, I recently launched a kids YouTube channel, Keko Africa,
Yeah,
focused on teaching African history and culture through animation. We've
yeah.
crossed 50K views, which we're grateful for, but we're still far from our long-term goals in today's fast-changing digital space. What practical strategies would you recommend for growing a new channel and reaching more families consistently?
Strategies for growing a new channel and reaching. I would encourage partnerships with platforms, like Minds platforms, for instance, and do a lot of shorts, a couple of promotions. 50K subscribers is not a small feat,
It's a
please.
lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
No, I don't know how long it took you to get, because 50K. You see, people sometimes compare their growth to other people's own. For you to even minimize the blessing of 50K, which I know that is an amazing feat. For you to have gotten 50K, I know 100K is not far, you know. Um, Find collaborations, platforms, because I don't do kids content. So find platforms that create the same type of content and find a way to partner with
Partner.
them. Do a lot of promotion on TikTok and on Facebook. They actually do help. Watermark your content so that when these contents go on these platforms, it's easy for people to find you to YouTube. Watermark the content and push it on platforms like Facebook and on TikTok and on Instagram. But Facebook and TikTok very powerful. Yes, in terms of making money off kids content, it's not also a great idea because I think that YouTube has some sort of rules when it comes to kiddies content. But if you're passionate about it, well, why not continue? All the best.
Now, this other question is for you as well. This is from Bolu Chipe. And it says, if you already have a functional Instagram account where people follow you, relate with you, and know you well there, is it advisable to open another Instagram account if you want to be intentional about creating value for money in a particular niche where you thrive greatly, or just stick to the former Instagram account?
I opened another platform and called it something else. And 2 days later, someone else had stolen the identity, used the same name. And okay, that means the reason they couldn't steal Ruth Kadiri 247 was because
Oh, that was you.
It's your name.
it's very tricky because at the end of the day, what works for you, you know the reason why what you're creating and why you're creating it. So I
Yeah.
agree with me actually. I do.
So last question for you, Ruth. You mentioned the freedom to create. How does your viewers' expectations influence what you feel free to create?
There's got to be a balance. There has to be a balance. There was a time where somebody said, "Oh, Ruth, I I want something different. I want this and I want that." And I went out to create that content that they said they wanted. And YouTube demonetized, didn't even demonetize it, YouTube just unmonetized it. They kept pushing the content, they kept advertising on it, but I wasn't getting paid for it. And I kept that I think that content has over 4.5 million views today. I left it there for a purpose to remind myself that you got here because you knew what you were doing. And sometimes if you let the audience influence you, these are people who make emotional decisions. You get some out of too much love for you and some out of not understanding the business and some just out of whatever they are going through in their own space. So find a balance. I listen to feedback and I ask myself, does this work? Does this not work? Does this benefit me on the long run or no? And sometimes I drown out the noise because if you listen to what everybody's got to say and their feedback and their choices, I would be making content where I'm dancing 247, So just let there be a balance, I would say. Find it. Sometimes listening costs you a lot. It has cost me twice, actually. So I was another one. I created a lot of music. I would sit down sometimes, create the songs that I use. Nobody say I go pay person. No, I sit down, I sing the song because I'm that creative. God. And a lot of people wake up and know, oh my God, I love Ruth songs. And then people woke up and said, she's using the songs too much. Yeah. I left the songs. I went to new creators and I said, okay, create songs for me. And then sometimes I woke up and I'm seeing like my content have been demonetized and I'm seeing like 50, like I'm not joking, in 2025, I had over 50 copyright issues. Like 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 50. So, and I would just look at it and be like, why did I even listen to anybody? So sometimes it has its perks, sometimes you deal with the consequences on the long run. So find a balance. There were still some good advices that I listened to and they worked for me.